Thank you so much, Natalia. Finally tonight we have David Hicks, whose debut novel is launching tonight at White Plains. David grew up in New York, moved to Colorado in his 30s, and is now a professor at Regis University in Denver, where he co-directs the Mile-High MFA in creative writing. He and his wife Cynthia enjoy hiking in the mountains with their dog Rosie and meeting the children Stephen and Caitlin for a big breakfast afterwards. David has published many stories in such fine journals as Glimmer Train, Colorado Review, and Saranac Review. White Plains is his first novel, and this is his first ever visit to Austin. David.
It's a pretty good town. People say it's a good town. It really is a good town. One of the things you have here is a bunch of good independent bookstores, and this is a beautiful one, and it's really a privilege to be here. And I would just encourage you to keep showing your support. Thanks for coming tonight. And the best way to show your support is buy a book. It doesn't have to be ours, just because independent bookstores are, fighting for survival, and they have survived, but we need to keep supporting them. So I'm on this insane 50-stop book tour, and they're all at independent bookstores and some libraries, just because I really believe in that. And I don't buy any books from authors who are living from Amazon. I want to support my fellow authors. Not that there's anything bad with them. It's good, free shipping, it's good. And it's really nice of you to thank me, but I asked Charlotte and Natalia to read with me because I'm a fan of their work. I just really like their writing, and Charlotte and I helped each other when we just first started to write, and she's just a beautiful person in my life. And Natalia is working. She and I work together at the MFA program at Regis, Mile-High MFA, and it's just a privilege to have you on the faculty. The students are really lucky. I read Chasing the Sun, which you read from a couple years ago, and as soon as I finished reading it, I tried to hire her. So I thought, okay, she's up and coming, she's good, she can help. So, and I could tell she was nice too. So I'll be reading from my debut novel, White Plains, which follows the journey of Flynn Hawkins, an English professor from New York who tries to remake his life in the wake of 9/11. His marriage ends then, he quits his job, he loses his family and his friends. He kind of loses his identity because he identifies as a father mostly, primarily. And then moves to the mountains of Colorado to pursue another relationship, and kind of has to face his fears and make up for his mistakes and reform his identity into a new self. And that's what happens in the mountains. So the book is in 3 parts: New York, Colorado, and then the end part is Pennsylvania, where he moves to be back with his kids. And I'm going to read you from the end of the first part, which is New York. And Flynn and his son, Flynn is just recently separated, and he's taken his 7-year-old, I think he's at this point, son, Nathan, to a Mets game. And the Mets are total losers that year. But they go to the game, and afterwards they have this thing called the Diamond Dash, which is when kids go in from the outfield, and then they go, do you know about this? You go to right field, then down to first base, and the parents keep walking to home while the kids run around the bases. Diamond Dash. The narration goes back and forth between the Diamond Dash itself, the walk from the outfield, to flashbacks of when Nathan was a baby. And Flynn is very much feeling the absence of being a father. Okay. And in the first part of the story, they had been to a pizzeria. He was remembering when he told Nathan he was leaving his marriage, and he had to bring Nathan to a pizzeria. And there's a kid playing a video game in which he kills. He shoots at heroes or villains. You have to identify if it's a hero or a villain, and shoot or not shoot. It's a great video game for kids. It's for kids. A few months after I left my sister's house, Nathan and I had sat on my bed in my tiny apartment in West Harrison on the 2nd floor of a cottage, formerly the horse groomer's quarters, in the backyard of a small estate. Janie sat on the floor in her happy-faced pajamas watching a Winnie the Pooh video, while Nathan showed me some drawings he had made in his first grade class. In one of them, stick figures in red crayons stood side by side on orange construction paper. There was a mommy with a thick smile and a tuft of red hair, a daddy, tall and skinny, with brown hair and a mustache, a chubby baby in a bright blue stroller, and a slight little boy. But between the boy and the daddy was a strange man with a thick and hideous grin. The tallest member of this crayon portrait, he was clearly not a member of the family. And although the stranger was smiling, his head was on fire. An orange blaze raged up from inside his skull, the top of which had apparently been blown off. "Who's that guy?" I said. Nathan looked puzzled. "That's a man with his head on fire." I looked at the other drawings, a cow with green stripes, a boy with hands so fat they blotted out the scenery. I thought, maybe sometimes a man with his head on fire is just a man with his head on fire. But then I remembered, on our way out of the pizzeria, he had kicked the soda machine as hard as he could. "Okay, so are you angry?" I asked. "That I left? That would be totally normal." My God, of course he's angry, I thought. He'll be angry with me till the day he dies. "No," Nathan said, fingering the button on his shirt. "Just sad sometimes, but I see you almost every day, and Joey Vanilla says you're better than his dad, because his dad is always..." I gathered his angular body to me. "It's okay if you are," I said. I was thinking of what my therapist would say about Nathan's drawing. That one's going to have issues when he grows up. "Okay, but I'm not," Nathan said. "You're one of the best dads ever." I held him at arm's length, his mushroom-cut hair, his spindly body, his wet mouth opened in an O, and the baby teeth inside, making way for the grown-up teeth. "You have no idea how amazing you are," I wanted to say. "You're already a better person than I am." "I got it," Nathan said, his eyes widening. "I'll just live here with you." He rapidly patted my knee. "Jane can live with Mom, and we can play catch in the backyard where all the grass is, and you can read to me every night, and we can watch Thomas the Tank Engine videos." I touched my finger to his lips, but he slapped away my hand. "Don't you want me to live here? Why don't you tell Mom you want me to live with you?" I caught my breath. In a preliminary talk with a lawyer, I had proposed that very compromise. If I had no chance whatsoever at full custody, could I at least have custody of one of them? But the lawyer had shaken his head. "They never split up the children," he said. I took both of Nathan's hands and pulled him to me, breathing in the smell of his hair. If I pried open the top of his head, would an orange fire leap out and devour us both? "Natty," I said, "you're the best boy, the very best boy in the whole world." 2 months after Nathan was born, I carried him to the couch with me at 3 in the morning, after the clanging radiator in his room had awakened him from a deep sleep. I shuffled into the kitchen, holding him in one arm while getting his bottle ready. With his cracked squawking in my ear, I plucked the bottle from the pot of hot water, squeezed a drop of warmed up breast milk onto my wrist, arranged my son in the crook of my arm, placed the nipple in his mouth, and made my way over to the couch. "Natty is the best boy," I sang to him. "The very best boy in the whole wide world." I found an old movie on television as he slurped the milk. When he fell asleep in the middle of it, waking up in time to belch into my face, spit up onto my shoulder, and drop into sleep again on my chest, his heart beating rapidly against mine, a wave of tenderness came over me, a rush of something I had never felt before, and with that the certainty that he and I had just sealed something permanent, something more natural and unbreakable than a wedding vow. Near first base was a sign. "Parents and guardians, proceed to home plate." When we reached the base, Nathan, no need for directions, broke from me towards second, and as he ran in line with the other kids, I surveyed the adults, wondering which were parents and which were guardians, which were heroes and which were villains. Then I turned and noticed my dashing son. At first he ran with his fists closed, legs windmilling, knees and elbows jutting out as he followed the children in front of him. The rest of the parents and guardians strolled to home plate, looking right and cheering encouragement, while I stood arrested at first base. For just before reaching second, as Nathan leaned forward and dashed past a taller boy in front of him, a strange thing happened. His body began to collect itself, began to come together in flight. His chin rose, his shoulders relaxed, and fists open as he took the inside corner of the second base bag with the side of his right foot. Where had he learned that? Past 2 more dashers, then accelerated confidently past an entire line of jogging and laughing kids, Tall kids and short, bad kids and good, kids of all colors, kids with stepdads or stepmoms, kids with single moms or single dads, kids with no parents at all, kids with parents who hated each other, kids with parents who loved each other. As he rounded third, the Mets third base coach smacked him on the ass, and he ran even faster, sprinting past 4 more children as he streaked toward home. And just then, he lifted his arms, the gallant victor in the throes of his own grace, and smiled a smile of triumph, of freedom, of an escape from suffering. And when he alighted in the air above home plate, hovering like a butterfly and landing so lightly it could hardly count as a run, he didn't seem to notice that his father wasn't where he was supposed to be, that he was, in fact, still lingering at first base as parents and guardians streamed past him. A man who seemed to have popped up out of nowhere, neither hero nor villain, grinding some warning track dirt in his fist and standing at a reasonable distance off to the side. Cool. Thanks. And I just want to say something. Deborah Monroe's here. And she's one of my favorite writers in the world, and you should read her writing. It's like I'm reading, like, you don't know this, I'm reading like, Deborah Monroe's watching me, Deborah Monroe's watching me. Oh boy. She lives here among you. And it's such a treat to see my former student Damien there. Damien was a student of mine years ago, and he's just a fine young man. So thanks for coming. Do we take questions? Should we take some? Do you want questions or just eat? Okay, because there are cookies over there.
So would you come up and stand awkwardly with you?
I think